Hello, good evening and welcome to our 9 p.m. English news edition brought to you live by RTD channel. Here are the top stories. The President of the Republic attended the burial of the Director of the Cabinet of the Presidency, Ahmed Fatih Shamsani. Celebration of the World Day of the Press. The European Union will put an end to border checks in November. That was the headlines, and now to the national news.
We begin with this news by the news of the arrival of the remains of the mortally deceased Fatih Shamsi, top official of the state, which is dead in France while he was in hospital under care. The head of the state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, has moved in person to the airport for the arrival of the coffin. Fatih Shamsi, after long occupied the function of the Secretary General of the National Education, was then assigned by the President of the Republic to be the deputy to the Secretary General of the Presidency. This great clerk of the state was highly appreciated for his calm, his waiting, and his great sense of duty. He spent each day of the whole hours in his office, finally his work, and gave himself to the bottom. It seems every favorite his duty and his high function of determined of his private life. Very many personalities have surrounded the head of the state to pay tribute to the memory of the deceased. From the airport to remain the deceased should be routed to the mosque for the prayer of the dead, and then the conduct at least remain of to put to earth. Very many messages of the condolence were sent to the family of the deceased as a result of this sudden disappearance. The management and the staff of the RTD with this moment of grief and pain, and express in deep sympathy to the family and friends of the deceased. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. وصلوا بما يرتدي الضرب وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله
And the leader has to do the last pass to the cemetery of Picadoos for entry into the earth of the deceased. The head of the state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, has moved in person and was there.
ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر قرآن مبين لينظر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافر.
وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. ثبتك الله بالقول الثابت، ثبتك الله بالقول الثابت. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. اللهم اغفر له وارحمه وعافيه واعف عنه وأكرم نزله.
And now, still on the national news, the regional conference organized by UNESCO in Djibouti on the higher education and research has opened its door yesterday at the Campus Q Hotel with the participation of 13 countries of Africa and the Indian Ocean. Officially opened by the head of the state of Djibouti, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, this conference will deal with several themes including sciences, technology. How can universities combine the natural sciences and social sciences and humanities research to meet the challenges of the objectives of sustainable development? and how the universities of the region can they react in a collaborative way to new challenges related to the growth and sustainable development, inclusive to strengthen greater collaboration in research and the production of scientific knowledge in the universities of the Convention of Addis Ababa for the recognition of studies, certificate, diplomas and other academic qualification in higher education in the African state. After the opening of the conference, the regional director of UNESCO and the Minister of Higher Education have held yesterday in the afternoon a first press conferences on the issue and challenges for our country and the countries of the region.
In the framework of the preparation for the 17th General Assembly of the Association of the National Olympic Community of Africa will take place from 9 to 11 May 2017 in Djibouti. The first delegation of the participants in this important event began to arrive on the ground of Djibouti, as well as several personalities, including the ANOCA President Lazano Balofo, arrived today by the flight Ethiopian Airlines. During the stay, the delegation will be hosted at Campeski Palace Hotel and at the Sheraton Hotel. In a total of 200 people are expected for this elective assembly, and it is a Campeski Palace Hotel that will welcome the ceremony and was organized in honor of the president of the ANOCA in the presence of the president of the NOC of Djibouti, also a member of the Olympic Community International, Mrs. Asha Ali Garad, remembering that this major event will bring together all the presidents and the Secretary General of the National Olympic Committee, and will be honored also by the presence of the presidents of the International Olympic Committee, Mr. Thomas Patch, other prestigious personality expected by the president of ANOC, the World Association of National Olympic Committee, Mr. Sheikh Ahmad, as well as many members of the former sport champion. During almost a week, therefore, the Republic of Djibouti will host the entire leadership of the entities of Continental Olympic and International Organization, Olympic Solidarity and International Sport Federation. This will widely cover by the national and international press.
And the ceremony of the World Day of the Freedom of the Press is organized this morning to the Hotel Acacias in Djibouti by the Union of Staff of the Press and also Audiovisual SPAD in collaboration with the UNESCO. The ceremony is chaired by the chairperson of the Union, Ms. Asha Ahmed Yusuf. Several presenters, journalists, and written press of the RTD, The Nation, and ADI Al-Qarni have participated to this ceremony of the freedom of the press. The ceremony saw the participation of the Director Regional of the UNESCO for the East Africa and the Indian Ocean, Ms. Anne-Therese, the Director of the Communication, Ibrahim Miyur, and the Coordinator of the UNESCO of Djibouti, Idris Yusuf Ilmi.
The President of the Union in writing press, Mrs. Asha Ahmed, has emphasized the theme of this year for the World Day of the Press entitled "Of Critical Spirit for a Critical Time." This day that we're celebrating is full of sentence because it is part of a global context, or the question of a condition of the work becomes recurrent and constitute as a real problem for the exercise of the profession. This is why these days allow us to reflect, to stimulate, to debate amongst the professionals of the media on the problem which affect the freedom of the press and professional ethnic. For it to see the journalists and the media professionals in Djibouti tools to put since a few years point of honor to celebrate these days. This year again they have not wanted to derogate from the rule, because this day it is for the large family of the press find themselves to exchange and try to develop our organization.
Still on the national news this morning, the Regional Council of Tajura, under the presidency of Mr. Omar Hussein Omar, held its first ordinary session of the Regional Assembly. This first session which has requested by the whole of the local elected representative of the Regional Council as its agenda in the first place. The bill emphasized in the meeting that the office of the Regional Council has had with the civil society to join and to know women, youths and the different associations of Tajura. Addition the call made of this meet, the President of the Regional Council, Omar Hussein, has highlighted the various objectives of the RDP Regional Development Plan as well as the practical implementation of the roadmap established by the Ministry of Decentralization.
We learn with sadness of the death of the deceased Ali Sultan Ismail occurred Djibouti. The deceased Ali Sultan Ismail was age of 80 and was retired from the National Police. It left behind 6 children and 20 grandchildren. Known for his integrity and his good citizen, he was the father of the current director of the Idris Ali Sultan. The entire staff of the RTD and the director addresses his condolences, the more attested that this family, close friend and relative of the deceased Ali Sultan, that is the God to put him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
And it is with great sadness and emotion that we learn today the days of the late Kawali Khadija Waiz. Occurred yesterday to Ali Sabih. The late Kawali Khadija Waiz has left behind her 5 child and 40 small child, and she was the maternal aunt of her conqueror Muhammad Ali Khairi. The personnel and the direction of the RTD present their sincere condolences at this time of sadness. The Almighty may welcome him in eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
And now, let us move on to international news. The EU will put end of the border check in November. The European Union will put an end to border check in November for the Schengen space, removing here 6-month exceptional derogations granted to 5 European countries face a strong influx of migration. Brussels has given its agreement to Germany, Austria, Denmark, Sweden and Norway for a new extension of control, but this will be the last time. He is warned this Tuesday, 2nd of May, the European Commission to the migration in the month of March and the initiative of France and Germany to the Schengen border code has been amended since then. The totality of the travelers entering and leaving the Schengen area are submitted to a border control systematic and open.
And now in Syria, an attack of Daesh struck tens of dead in a refugee camp. An attack of Daesh has caused dozens of deaths in a refugee camp in Syria near the Iraqi border. More than 30 civilians and many fighters of Kurdish forces have perished in this attack. The members of the Islamic State took on a makeshift camp where Syrian refugees but also the Iraqis were gathered. The jihadists have targeted a small village near the town of Al-Shadadi, located between Raqqa in Syria and Mosul in Iraqi Kurdistan. The region is populated mostly in Kurds. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, at least 5 suicide bombers are detonated outside and to the inside of the refugee camp. That's all for this evening news. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.